My name is Yusuf Karuni. I'm an HBU student. I'm a BCMB major and currently in between sophomore and junior. I have congenital kidney failure, meaning my kidneys failed the minute I was born. Things that most people take for granted other than their health that I don't get to do is, I remember very vividly that I could not eat chocolate for the first 7 years of my life. So it's mostly things that as a kid you would think you can do, like, oh, I get to go to, I don't know, the beach. I couldn't really do that.
So Yusuf and I met in our general biology class as freshmen. That was my first time taking a bio course. And we actually sat on the first row. Yusuf was just a few seats down from me. So that's how we kind of hit things off. After that, I didn't see him for a while, so I didn't know what happened to him or anything like that. At the time, I wasn't aware of his condition. So when I did see him again, I saw him, I was a TA, lab assistant for a GB2 course, and that's where I saw him, because he was part of the class.
Working with Yusuf has been a wonderful experience. He is a remarkable student. He is very disciplined. He tries very hard in his coursework. He wants to make an A and he makes an A. And I feel like he goes above and beyond that. He really wants to understand the subject matter. He wants to understand the processes he's learning about.
Yusuf's work ethic is very stellar. I got to see this firsthand in the lab setting during our General Biology 2 course when I was a lab assistant for the lab that he was part of. Yusuf is very hardworking, he's determined. He's very diligent too, especially with dissections. He was probably one of the better people at doing dissections when we worked with specimens and things like that.
My daily routine on my off days, meaning like when I don't have dialysis, it's just like anybody else's. I wake up, I brush my teeth, wash my hair, get in my car and go to class and come back and study just like everyone else on my off days. On dialysis days, I've tried it 2 different ways. My first semester here, when I first started dialysis, I didn't have class on the days I went. So Tuesday, Thursday, I didn't have class. So I would probably oversleep because I didn't want to go there. I would wake up, clean my thing, and then go to dialysis. Come back probably feeling terrible.
My favorite Yusuf story is actually his story of coming back to my lab after a semester's absence. So he attempted to take one of the labs that I was teaching and he couldn't because his health rapidly deteriorated. He came back the next semester ready to go. Not only ready to go, he came back the next semester and he was the top student in the class. Just like that, no problems whatsoever, as if nothing happened, as if he didn't just spend most of his time in a hospital.
So when I was 9, I received my first kidney transplant from my aunt. It was great because she was blood related, so it was a close match. It lasted me 9 years of my life, which were probably the best years I could have. It lasted me all the way from like the end of elementary school to senior year. So it actually failed when I came to HBU. I am a very stubborn person. It failed at the beginning of senior year, and I went through senior year basically half paralyzed, not willing to admit my kidney had just failed.
As a student, Yusuf has inspired me to not be a complainer. There's times where I maybe feel tired and I feel like I don't want to go to class, or I feel overwhelmed and I usually say my life sucks. But to put it in retrospect, my life doesn't really suck. And seeing Yusuf go through his day-by-day life in the academic setting and just tackle on life and take on life challenges, take on the workload that it is to be a science major, and just do it with such grace, really challenges me to not complain about it and to do better. So definitely he's had an impact on how I see things not only in the academic setting, but in life in general. I think I appreciate more the time that I do have, so that instead of complaining, I actually do something about it like he does, because I've never seen Yusuf complain. And so I'm like, well, if Yusuf with his condition doesn't complain, then what entitles me to complain, really?
Knowing Yusuf really changed my approach to how I see the students, how I see their work, how I evaluate what hard work means, what really giving it all means for a student. I see that watching Yusuf going through his studies and really trying hard just to stay alive, but he goes so far above that. He wants to be the best. He doesn't seem to be affected by his condition, by the fact that, well, he does not have functional kidneys. Most of us do have functional kidneys. We don't have to worry about dialysis. We don't have to worry about scheduling our life around how much water we drink per day.
So this project is something that I never saw happening. I think God works in very mysterious ways. The way it all started was me running to the very end of a meeting that we had for one of our clubs. I hadn't seen Yusuf a lot in the semester, so it happened quite a few weeks back. And I spoke to him and I was following up with him. And it was interesting because he told me that he had spoken to the club and told them about, his condition. And I don't know what it was. Nobody asked me to do it or anything, but there was just something inside that said, you should offer some help. And so knowing me, I just jumped on it and I told him, well, bro, we should do something about it. And I'm like, how do you feel if I was I jokingly said it, but I was like, what if I was your spokesperson? And we kind of laughed about it and stuff like that. But, I told him, I was like, I don't know, I'll figure something out.
So growing up, being the odd one out, I didn't feel comfortable telling people I need help. I mostly just told them, I have this condition, it's totally fine, I'm gonna be totally fine. HBU's environment helped me feel like, I could go up to someone like Oscar and just be like, hey man, could you help me look for a kidney? Because it's not an easy thing to ask somebody, I need your vital organ so that I can live a normal life for 30 years when you could use it for the rest of your life.
Being a kidney donor is really a great feat, and it's really a great sacrifice on the part of a person who wants to be the one to give somebody else a license on a normal life. What would it mean for Yusuf to receive a kidney from somebody would be to really be able to live a normal life, as normal as most of us live, or at least a close approximation of this. Will he ever be medically really truly healthy? Well, if he receives a kidney transplant, his life would be changed. He would not have to go through hours and hours of dialysis every week. His life wouldn't be defined by a machine. He could actually be a lot more active. He would have a lot more energy.
Talking to Oscar, I'm like, there might be people here who actually want to help me in ways I didn't even imagine. I didn't imagine that I would be doing this interview. I didn't imagine I would even be able to ask for a kidney in the first place. Oscar was kind of like that light of hope that told me, yes, you can do this, and it's totally okay to do this, and we're going to do everything we can so you can do this.